Welcome to Saturday Morning Spider-Man, the only show on the internet where we bring you the entire Ultimate Spider-Man comic book series back to back to back every Saturday. Unless I skip a Saturday, that happens once in a while. But anyway, it's time for us to cover Volume 21, War of the Symbiotes. Now, in our last video, Carol Danvers had become the acting director of S.H.I.E.L.D. and was tasked with watching over Norman Osborn. Norman attempted to negotiate a deal with Carol, but when she refused, he broke out of S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters. When Peter went to go stop him, it was Harry who ended up fighting Norman as Hobgoblin and ultimately lost his life to stop him. As the birds chirp in the park, Eddie Brock sits on a bench staring off at the scenery. An older woman walks by and stops to sit, and Eddie turns to her telling her that his name is Eddie Brock. It's a nice day, he's hungry. Before she can answer, he tells her that he's sorry. He's been sitting here all day trying to figure out how his life became what it is. He was a college student doing homework and going to parties, but now he has nowhere to go. Back when he was a kid, his father invented a medical miracle, a cure for cancer, and it ended up being a parasite, and it attacked him. Suddenly he changed into this thing, a super-powered thing. And that's when him and Spider-Man started throwing down. For the record, he knows who Spider-Man is. They used to be pals, but not anymore. His name is Peter Parker. Eddie goes on saying how he ran into Peter. They fought, and then there was a flash of light. And when he woke up, he was somewhere else, hungry. And he ate the people that passed by in the park. In fact, he had actually gone out into the city to feed, and that's when he saw him again. It was Spider-Man fighting some giant metal rhino guy. And the thing is, when he saw Spider-Man, he felt great. Was the suit wanting him to go? There was a time when Spider-Man did wear this suit, even though it wasn't for a very long period. Maybe the suit's connected to him. Did it want to kiss him or kill him? He couldn't tell. Then later that night, he was attacked by some mercenary groups calling themselves the Wild Pack. Their lasers fired into him and he fought back, stopping most of them. But then there was one more. A woman with silver hair calling herself Sable. She began to open fire on him and they fought for a bit, but in the end he was able to escape. That night he just knew that he had that feeling again. That feeling like he was close to Spider-Man. Maybe days and weeks passed and he couldn't really tell, but one day he felt it again. Spider-Man was close. He and his class started taking a field trip to the museum, and he just had to get closer. So he broke in wearing the suit, and sure enough, Spider-Man was there. But since he couldn't really control himself, they began to fight, destroying everything around him. Spider-Man, being the hero that he was, tried to keep things to a minimum, but as the fight went on, they ended up back out in the street. He was so close to getting Spider-Man, and that's when that Sable woman appeared and started shooting at him and Spider-Man. But back in the current time, the woman sitting on the bench says, Wait, you're the monster from the museum? Eddie looks at her, and Venom comes out and eats them! Eddie reverts back, stating, yeah, that was me. Now where was I? That's right. After Sable shot me, I turned into my normal self again. Spider-Man tried to stop us, but he was already having some issues of his own. Sable then took me away and left Spider-Man in the streets. Some time passed and I woke up and I was in a cell. It was there that I met the man, Boulevard Trask. He was the man that my father worked for when Venom was created, and he wanted the suit back. He tried to explain that the suit actually belonged to his father, but Boulevard said that that was before his father died. He actually sold it to him, and it actually belonged to him. It belonged to Trask, and it was worth billions. So after finally getting control of him, Boulevard and his doctors put him into a test tube to try and split him from the suit. But before they could, some man showed up. Some man in a Beetle costume. Beetle broke through the wall, tearing apart everything and knocking everyone out with some kind of gas. Once he was done, he opened up the test tube, freeing him, and then he held out a small container. Beetle didn't say anything, and when he attacked him, Beetle cut off a piece of him and put that piece into the container. After getting a part of him, Beetle just flew off. However, that didn't sit well with him, so he followed Beetle. He jumped on top of him while he was trying to get away, and the two of them ended up crashing into the streets. They fought there, and that's when Spider-Man showed up, splitting them back up. And that's when it happened. After being knocked down to the ground, the suit reached out to Spider-Man, and then he tried to get the suit not to leave, but the suit chose Spider-Man over him. Once the suit completely covered up Spider-Man, him and the Beetle guy started to fight. Spider-Man knocked him away, but it also looked like Spider-Man was trying to fight against something like the hunger. Before long, Sable and her Wild Pack showed up again. again. Spider-Man tried to fight them, throwing cars and anything that he could grab. Sable's force in the air fired down into Spider-Man, knocking him into a nearby building. But that's when they thought that they had him. So Spider-Man jumped back out onto the helicopter, dragging it into the street. Sable shouted to her men to fall back and retreat because the big boys were here. At first, he didn't understand. And that's when he saw Nick Fury and the Ultimates. Captain America jumped in and started to beat into Spider-Man. But that's when Spider-Man started to eat him. Before he could, though, it looked like he was struggling to hold back. And then he threw Captain America instead. As Thor jumped in to attack, he remembered himself yelling, "That's what you get, Parker!" And Nick asked if he just said Parker. Nick said sorry for whatever reason. And then he told Thor to hit him with the good stuff. Thor flew into the sky and suddenly a giant bolt of lightning struck down into Spider-Man. All he could do was watch and cry. They were hurting Venom. It was his suit. All he wanted was for them to give it back. The next day after everything, he went to Spider-Man's school. And since he knows that he's a high schooler and all, he found Spider-Man with his little girlfriend outside. He told him that he wanted it back. But it turns out Spider-Man didn't have it. That S.H.I.E.L.D. group or whatever it was took it back after the huge fight. Spider-Man told them to just forget about it, and he told them that he needs it back, or he's going to publicly announce who he is. He'll go to the place where he works and tell everyone about his little secret identity, that Peter Parker is actually Spider-Man. But back in the current day, Eddie Brock is still sitting on the park bench watching the scenery when an older man sits on the bench next to him. The man takes off his hat, stating, "It's a nice day, isn't it?" And Eddie tells him that his name is Eddie, and it is a nice day, and right now, he's hungry. Anyway, let me get back to my story. After not hearing from Spider-Man for some time, I decided to stop by his house one night. When I rang the doorbell, his aunt answered and I tried to tell her that Spider-Man was there. I knew who he was! And after I told his aunt who he was, she started to unlock the door for me. And then suddenly she pulled a gun on me! I tried to calm her down, but she was really trying to threaten me, so I grabbed the gun from her. And just as I thought, Spider-Man appeared and punched me. Spider-Man was getting ready to beat me further, but then he looked back and decided to take this elsewhere. Once we landed on a rooftop, Spider-Man kept shouting, asking, "Why are you even doing this?" And I told him, "It's because you've got everything! Powers, the suit, and the suit chose you!" While we argued, though, there was a girl that showed up. It looked like the girl that was inside of Spider-Man's house, and that girl's name was Gwen. Spider-Man said that he would show me what it's like to have that thing inside of me. And as Spider-Man went on, Gwen started to change into something, and that's when I knew that's what I needed. Gwen attacked me, and then I felt it. I felt the suit! Part of it was inside of him all along. All the suit needed was more. After touching Gwen, the suit started to grow, absorbing the other suit. Spider-Man tried to separate them, but then I knocked Spider-Man away. Gwen shouted, like she wanted to protect Spider-Man, and then she jumped on top of him. They started fighting, punching each other back and forth, and just as Gwen thought that she had won, I let my suit creep up behind her. Once enough of it was behind her, the suit covered Gwen and it started to devour her suit. After I absorbed all of it, I grew larger than ever before. I felt more powerful than ever before. Spider-Man tried to attack, but that's when I knocked him down into the alleyway from before. Spider-Man followed me, and I told him that there was no more fighting. I had what I wanted! Spider-Man tried to stop me, but after slipping away into the sewer, I managed to escape. Back in the present time, the man puts on his hat, stating that if he's got this right, you fought Spider-Man, and now you're some sort of what exactly? Eddie looks at the man, and Venom comes out to eat him. And just as Eddie lunges, the man holds out his fist, sucking him up. After capturing all of Eddie, the man looks around, and then metal plates start to form over the man's fist. Seconds later, Beetle rockets off into the sky, reporting that he's pleased to inform the Lord that he has the recipient of the package. He is on his way back to the home country. The Lords bless Latvia. And that concludes this little fun side story involving Venom and what happened to him and why he's missing. And sadly, things need to be coming to an end. It's been a long time going. We've been doing Ultimate Spider-Man now for, I don't know, like 15 episodes, 19 episodes. It's a good amount of episodes, and it's been going on since April. But you know what? There's a little movie coming out right about now-ish when this video goes up. I don't really know off the top of my head when that's gonna be, but it's gonna be soon around this. And then we're gonna be bringing you the finale to the Ultimate Spider-Man saga. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you want to see the finale to the entire Ultimate Spider-Man series and see what series we're going to be bringing to you next. The best way to figure that out is to stay on the channel, and I'll see you next time right here.